big dog right now before we get into our conversation about how everybody wants to be black now. Everybody wants to use the word nigga now all of a sudden. I said because they all understand the switch that is here. They all understand the switch. They all feel it in their spirit. They feel it in their soul. And now they want to all come out here and act like we've all been going through the same thing. All of a sudden now, the white man's had his foot on all of our necks. And we all need to come together because the colonizers have been doing this to all of us. We've all gone through slavery. Of course, they get the word chattel slavery out of that whole predicament. I said because only one group of people had to go through chattel slavery. And it wasn't Mexicans, it wasn't Cubans, it wasn't Colombians, it wasn't Asians, wasn't Filipinos. It was one group of people, the so-called Negroes. And now, the thing is, and we're going to get into this, this is why they'll say things like, black people always want to talk about the past. And this Latino did the same thing as well as these Africans, these other people. Oh, they don't, they just leave the past in the past. We can't leave the past in the past. This goes for all vassals. They all say the same thing. They say exactly what the colonizers say. Let's just not talk about the past. No, we're going to talk about the past because the past is why you are in the position you are in today. The Latinos, you have been very, very, very racist to so-called black people. You have not wanted to be associated with us at all. You've never wanted to be associated with black people. And that is because your forefathers made a covenant with the colonizers. But see, that's why we have to know your history. Because if you understand that, then all of a sudden you guys wanting to use the N-word all the time makes no sense. Because your ancestors fought. They spilled their blood to not be considered black. They looked down on black people because that was the covenant that they made. They made a covenant with the colonizers so they could be more white passing. Even if they weren't white skinned, they could still be white passing because they made a covenant with the colonizers. And that goes for the so-called black looking Latinos too. They actually act like they're white too. I've seen plenty of them darker than me. Oh, I'm white. What do you mean you're white? Oh, no, I'm not black. I'm white. Mira, yo hablo español. No hablo inglés. All these things. Oh, no, I'm more cerca a España. All this, they want to say I'm Spanish. Like I'm from Spain. Mira, yo hablo español muy bien, so no soy black. I'm not black because I speak Spanish, right? I'm, soy católico. No soy black. Same shit, same things. They don't want to be black because they speak Spanish or because they're part of the Catholic Church. Look at, got all these Negro features, but, right? I'm no black poppy. Exactly, right? But they got all the black features, but that shows you that it's not about your skin color. It's about your spirit. It's about the fact that your ancestors, I'm sure you black people who look like us, but say you're not black because your ancestors made a covenant with the colonizers. So they could be more white passing. Okay, so you got to understand that. It's just, you're not white as far as white skin is concerned. You're white passing because you have white, you pretty much can do things that some white people let you do. You can you can go get a job. You can move yourself up mobily. You can go buy a house and then pass that down to your ancestors and things like that. But see, all of a sudden now in 2025, all these people want to be able to use the N-word. And I'm going to play this video in a little bit so we can talk about it. So you guys understand, like, you guys always talk about your history. Oh, viva la raza. This is para la raza. Yeah, the la raza fought to be white. They did not fight to be black. That's the whole point. Now, this is not for all Latinos. There's been some, of course, in all groups that have been down with us, that have chosen to turn their back on the dainties, the voluptuousness of this life, to be down with us, to go through, the struggle with us. But understand that when I show you the video and they're breaking it down, the guy's like pretty much, because it's like, 100 men versus a gorilla. And he says something about, well, how about 100 Latinos saying that they're not going to use the N-word? And all these Latinos came back with these racist comments. And I'm like, that's fine. I said, don't worry. You're going to get your opportunity to be all the nigga you want to be. I said, because now the switch is here. And that opportunity to be white passing is now done. Now y'all don't want to be white passing anymore. Now all of a sudden you want to be down and say that you that's the thing. Like, you're down. You've been having it the same as us. See, that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. You've had a struggle, but you have not had the struggle. You have suffered a struggle, but you have not suffered the struggle that was laid out in Scripture. And it's pretty hilarious. Trust me, your abuelito and abuelita and all of them are all in the grave right now, turning in their grave, with you sitting here trying to act or pass black, when they fought and made a covenant with the white man so that you could be white. And white meant that you could come over here and get benefits that you weren't supposed to get. You weren't supposed to be able to come over here and just go straight to school. You were not supposed to be able to come over here and get housing. You were not supposed to be able to come over here and get food stamps, whatever. You were not supposed to come over here and get DACA. You were not, or the DREAM Act. You were not supposed to come over here and get all that. But you got it because your forefathers made a covenant with the colonizers. So therefore, you got your opportunity to get in with some of the voluptuousness of the Edomites. And this goes not just for Latinos, but for all different groups. So now, I know I kind of went along because I was getting into that right there. Let me play a little bit of Father Indigo, Big Dog, real quick while we're waiting for some more people to come on in.
nations. Think about it out for patience. Cooking pizza, having aprons. Angelic in my cadence. These cause separations. Setting light, moving blatant. Wherever God been waiting. Initiating stations. Pyramids, rising vibrations. Open up your heart to my love right now. Hard with some legs, time to bring my crown. Don't believe this water, non-believers must drown. Don't need a Bentley cause my tribe was bound. Been hated on since the king touched down. Everything you owe us, you must bring us now. Big Found Christ, no TDJs. Old coon can't see a face. Our DNA can't create a race. White Jesus, we replace. With V, can't eat a steak. With my people, hey. This ain't planned. Must get down now. Aboriginal. Swedish royalty, celestial. Big God.
Let's get into this. Hold on real quick, family. All right. Let's get into this. Okay. So I'm going to play this video and we're going to kind of go through it. It's from Star Trends, you know, the Hamites. What's funny because Ham's even talking about how they don't even want it. They don't even use the N-word, which is funny because I'm like, well, of course you wouldn't use the N-word, Ham, because you know that when it's talking about so-called Negroes, niggas, it's not talking about you. So they even tell on themselves, the woman who's running this video right here, she's like, yeah, it's like black people, we don't even, we don't even want to use that word. I was like, yeah, because you didn't go through it. You guys have not gone through, you don't have the history to call yourselves those names. I saw a brother here was talking about, he works in Compton. He says that the Hispanics use the N-word more than the black people do, the black kids do. He works at a school, and my kids go to school with a lot of Latinos and they use the N-word all the time. And it's just funny, just like, it's like, but the thing is this, you guys don't understand that your ancestors fought for you not to be considered black people. See, in order to really say that you're black, say that you're Negro, say that you're a nigga, whatever it is, whatever word that they're using, see, you had to go through certain curses to really be able to even use that. You had to have been going through the curses of Deuteronomy 28, 16 through 68. Exactly. Also, now gingers want to use you know, that whole moniker, I'm black and whatever else. But see, you had to have gone through the curses of Deuteronomy 28:15 through 68. This is why you guys, but see, you guys, your forefathers fought for you to be part of the Catholic Church. Almost all of you, the vast majority of you people who wanted to call yourselves the N-word, and at the same time on Sundays, go to church. That church that you are part of was the ones that destroyed the so-called black people. Did the Catholic Church destroy you so-called Mexicans? Did the church destroy you so-called Latinos? Did the church do anything? Did the Inquisition go after your forefathers? See, who you really should be upset with is your forefathers. They were the ones that did not even give you the opportunity to join hand in hand with the Negroes. But you guys want to walk around now that, hey, I know, man, it's beautiful being me. It's beautiful being me. I love me some me now. Just like everybody else here loves themselves as well. But see, growing up, we got so much shit from everybody else. All you people who all of a sudden now want to use our words between yourselves. See, you were the ones that were hating on us. You were the ones that were saying, oh, you pinche mayate, da 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 da, pinche negro, blah 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 blah, this and that all the time. Hey, you can't be, don't be bringing no negro over here. If you bring some black guy over here, you know, and you try to date him or marry him, I'm gonna disown you. And not now all of a sudden everybody wants to be called a Negro or whatever else, but you didn't go through, you weren't the ones that were going through all of that. You weren't the ones that were going through the pain of when we went to school and in February they had Black History Month and all they wanted to talk about was slavery, and everybody wanted to turn and look at us and laugh. Where are you Latinos then saying, and Black History, oh yeah, that was my people too. Yeah, my people were enslaved too. You weren't laughing at us at that time? You guys weren't laughing, you guys weren't all together laughing at us at that time. See, now in 2025, all of a sudden now, you want to act like you've been down with the struggle. Why is that? Why is that all of a sudden now, you want to act like you, oh, yeah, man, hey, yeah, that's my nigga right there. Yeah, man, you know, we've been going through the struggle together. Yes, you've been going through a struggle, but not the struggle. This is why you need to go and talk to your parents. You already know, because you've been brought up. All you kids who want to use the N-word and everything else, you've all been brought up listening to your parents, listening to your grandparents be racist against black people. All of you. All of you have heard it. Now, if you chosen to ignore it, that's on you. But you've all heard it. So why all of a sudden now would you want to be associated with a people that your parents have hated? Why all of a sudden now do you want to be associated with a people that your great-grandparents or your grandparents have hated? What happened? I've gone to school where it's predominantly Latinos. So I know how racist they can be. We just recently went to a gathering for a family, wife's family. But this is like every time I go to a gathering, there are almost no black people there. Might be hundreds of people. And me and my kids will be the only Negroes, only black people that are there. Now see, like I said, my wife's different. She already knew, like I said, it was already put in her spirit that she was going to marry a black man. She already knew that from jump. She had to deal with all of the bullshit because she did choose to marry someone like myself. Okay? So, I mean, there's all these beautiful Latino women, but none of them chose to hook up with a black man or marry a black man. Why is that? Was it not, just coincidence? Or is it because that was something that was shunned in their families? You see what I'm saying? Like, it was something that was shunned this whole time. Because your great-grandparents, grandparents made a covenant. They made a covenant to shun us and stay away from us and everything else. So, and we all see it in all different, all different ethnicities. Asians do the same thing. East Indians do the same thing, right? Many Europeans, same thing. But I understand it because, like I said, this was your voluptuousness. Exactly. It was considered shameful. Exactly. This was your voluptuousness. This was your blessing. This is the history that your ancestors didn't want to tell you. Now they didn't want to tell you that, hey, we're already getting the payout. Hey, we're already getting the payout. Us being able to have social mobility upwards, that's what we got. Being able to come here illegally and be able to buy homes, buy property, have our kids go to school. Yeah, we had to work hard for that. I'm not saying you guys didn't work hard for that. But you even having that ability shows you that you had to have made a covenant with someone. I can't go to someone else's country and just set up shop illegally, get a job and buy property, and my kids go to school and get perks and benefits. Something. Hold on, family. He says that we can't go to someone else's place and just just show up and set up shop and do that kind of stuff. And see, you guys shouldn't have been able to do that either. But the reason you did was because your forefathers made covenants with the colonizers. That is the only reason you're able to do that. Can't go anywhere else and do that, but you're able to do that here. Don't have to be legal, can just come over here illegally and get all these benefits. So now I'm going to play this video. I know I was talking a lot because got a lot to say. I'm going to play this video right here. Bitter Latinos respond to brother after asking them to not use the N-word. Okay? Ham be going crazy using all these videos over here, all this content over here, and making videos on all the stuff going on between us. Just shows how they do it in the movie industries. They come and they get information about us and make movies and put it out there. Ham's doing exactly the same thing that colonizers have been doing this whole time. Stealing our information, stealing our stories, and making movies out of it and benefiting from it.
Man versus one gorilla. How about 100 Hispanics versus 100 man versus one gorilla? How about 100 Hispanics versus not saying the N-word? I don't hurt no.
That's what the brother said. The clip is short, but has caused so much uproar in the Hispanic community. And the comment section was filled with so much disrespect. That honestly says a lot. Some of the comments for you guys. So there's this one.
So they were saying, he said that, how about 100 Latinos saying they're not going to use the N-word. Hold on fast. Okay. So the first comment was, how about 100 versus not bringing up the past? That was the first thing that she put here. So they put these comments, how about 100 versus not bringing up the past. Now, again, why not? Who else says don't bring up the past? Oh, white people say don't bring up the past. But hey, Hispanics, if you had been going through the same things that we were going through, wouldn't you want to bring up the past? Wouldn't you want to bring up the past? If you are niggas just like us, wouldn't you want to bring up the past? Wouldn't you want to get recompense for your ancestors? But the fact that you're saying, hey, how about 100 versus not bring up the past? That shows you that you are in line with the colonizers. 100%. Like, hell yeah, we're bringing up the past because you haven't paid for it yet. Hell yeah, the Most High is keeping a track of all things you've done in the past. Hell yeah, I'm bringing up the past because you are still here on my lands, using up my resources that you're not allowed to use anymore. So that was just one. Let me play the next comment.
And there's this one.
So it's all these Latinos were saying these things. 100 of y'all versus not being the usual suspects. That was the second one. 100 of y'all versus not being the usual suspects. We're the usual suspects? That's funny. Usual suspects of what? People who, just say, oh, it's a black guy that did this, a black guy that did this. How about the usual suspects of your priests raping little boys and then you covering for them? How about you being the usual suspects of paying for rape, for priests to rape your children? How about you being the people who go to church and just, you go to a child molester and let him tell you how to get to heaven? How about that? And you don't say a word. It's funny how you can try to act all hard here in the comments, but you can't say a word to a priest that's raping your children. So I think you're the kind of usual suspects that allows your children to be raped. Is that the same kind of thing? Let's go to the next comment.
And there's this one. And there's that.
Hold on. Turn it down a little bit.
Some of the comments for you guys. So there's this one. And there's this one. And there's this one.
This one here was 100 versus y'all versus not committing a crime. Now don't hurt me. Must not hurt committing a crime. You guys commit crimes all the time. Colonizers have committed crimes for thousands of years and haven't paid for it, and you sit idly by and don't say anything about it. You forgot about that? About committing crimes? Raping, robbing, murdering, stealing, hiding history. They do this every single day, and you don't even say a word about it. How about that? That would be usual suspect? The usual lapdog that doesn't say anything when the colonizers do anything to you or your people or anybody else? Come on now.
And there's that one.
How about 100 of y'all versus a job application? 100 of y'all versus a job application. Like, we don't work? Okay. See, you're listening. All you're doing is regurgitating everything that the white man has told you, which isn't true. See, when I hear other nations talk about how hard they work and how hard their parents worked to get this house, how hard it was for them to come over here and get a job and do this and build that. All I got to say is our ancestors worked for 600, 700 years and got nothing for that. Did your mom and dad or your your grandparents, did they come over here and work for free and not get paid? Or do they come here and work and get paid and be given opportunities that other people that lived here didn't get? Were your ancestors fighting for you to get equal rights during the civil rights movement? No, they were not. They were not. See, one of your own leaders, Latino leaders, says that the black man's fight is not the brown man's fight. The black man's fight is not our fight. So leave the black man to fight his wars and his battles, and we'll fight our own. And you fought your own by becoming vassals to the colonizers. And we were not even given that opportunity. That is the big difference. So you've been paid to regurgitate all the things that the white man has said about us. And in these comments right here, you see it perfectly. You see it. Now, when you understand the video from yesterday about the whole voluptuousness and how nobody can keep us from our voluptuousness, then it's very easy to understand when you see people saying about they want to use the N-word, but then they don't know their history about how their forefathers hate black people. Their parents don't like black people. Grandparents don't like black people. Now, again, I'm not saying all, okay? But the vast majority do not, have not, and will not like us. So again, this is why this has to be discussed, because when you watch videos like this, you know, that's why this 12 tribes chart is such bullshit. Because you're trying to add in people who have not gone through the struggle like we have. You're adding in people who have disassociated themselves from us. They wanted nothing to do with us because they didn't want to go through the struggle. They wanted to enjoy the voluptuousness, which is fine. That is your choice. But don't enjoy the voluptuousness of all of this, you know, society, and then now at the end saying, now I'm going to use the word nigga and then talk about how I've been going through the same struggle as you. That worked before when we didn't understand the truth. So let me continue. This is only 28 seconds.
Those are the comments that has proven that this brother was right. Everybody wants to use the N-word so badly, such that when they're told not to do so, they genuinely get upset. Even despite knowing the dark history behind the word, non-black folks still insist on using it. And for what? As a black person myself, African black...
And like I said, they're fighting so hard to be able to use the N-word. That they use all these racist comments so they can justify to continue to keep using the N-word. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna go back a little bit. They're all fighting to be able to use the N-word. I'm gonna use that word. Damn it! I've been going through struggle, man. I've been going. Hey, man, my parents had to come over here and work hard so they could get a chance to buy this and buy that. Yeah, it's funny because my parents worked hard too. My great grandparents and all of my other ancestors worked hard, and they weren't given any of these opportunities. So that whole "my people worked hard" bullshit is not going to work. That's not going to work because ours worked harder than anyone's and for longer. We worked from sun up to sundown, no breaks, worked us to death, did not get paid, was not able to buy homes, buy this, buy that, none of that. Wasn't given better jobs, better positions. So don't miss us with all the BS. We're really only 36 seconds into this video.
They generally get upset. Even despite knowing the dark history behind the word, non-black folks still insist on using it.
She's saying that they insist that even knowing the back history, they don't know the back history. That is the whole point. They don't understand. See, the back history of the N-word was that your forefathers fought to not be associated with us. They had the opportunity to get the nigga treatment. They had that opportunity, but your forefathers said, hell no, I'll pass. They could have gone through the struggle with us, but they said, hell no, no thank you, I'll pass. I'm gonna come over here with the whites.
And for what? As a black person myself, African black person, even I don't feel comfortable using the word because I have learned the history behind that word. I've learned the pain and the trauma behind that word. It's like people want to use this word deliberately just to prove or hate black people. And what's even more ironic is that every race has
funny. I have my right there just told you. I don't even feel comfortable using that word because of the history. I thought it was your history. I don't want to use that word. As Hamai said, she doesn't want to use the words because of the history of the pain. Well, it's your history. It's your pain, isn't it? Aren't you our brother? Aren't you our sister? Haven't you gone through the same things we have? You already know that you haven't. That's why you don't feel comfortable using it. Because she probably knows a little bit more than these other people, these other groups that want to use it. Because your parents, why don't you ask your parents, why we shouldn't be using the N-word? Hey, why don't you ask your grandparents, hey, did we make a covenant or agreement to not be treated like black people or to be treated more like white people? Did we make? See, it's very evident. You can ask them. They'll say, oh, no, mijo. No. Somos los mismos. No, we're not. Because you guys got your opportunity. Somos los mismos. No, we're not. I said, because that's why you're Catholic. That's why you speak Spanish. That's why you can go back to Mexico. Because that was all part of, they gave you those lands. They gave you that stuff right there. So that therefore you have an inheritance. This is why your last names are Spanish last names and you speak Spanish. Because you made that covenant. We don't have a country to go to. We can't go back to where in Africa am I supposed to go to exactly? Because I don't have a land, because I was not given one, because everything was stripped from me. So since everything was stripped from me, I have nothing. So that's why you were able to laugh at me, point at me, laugh at me, have your parents say, don't date him. Don't date people like him. Why? Because they already knew that from past experience that we were cursed. So they don't want their daughters going through the cursing with us. They don't want their sons going through the cursing with us. That is why. Some have decided that they prefer, I'm sure in past lives, to be with us. That's why they're now, certain people in different ethnic groups are down with us now. Because it was already in their spirit, because that's how they were before. Like Brother Kurumeo, he brings out videos, he brings out information, he brings out stuff, no holds barred, right? Why? Because I'm sure that spirit was already put in him. And that's what it's about. The spirit that is put in you. Exactly, Delvina. Everything was stripped and made 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times harder for us. You're only seeing what you guys are seeing now, you other nations. See, this is the problem. A lot of the Latinos are seeing that black people are doing, some of them are doing okay now. Only reason you're seeing that now is because it's 2025. And things are like, you're being brought down and we're being brought up. It's kind of like we're at the elevator and you had been up here and we have been down here. Now you brought down here, we're brought down here. And now it looks like we're equal. And you think it's always been like this. You think it's always been that we've been somewhat equal. You think now, because they brought all you people who make Psalms 83, who made a covenant, you're being brought down. But it's a continuous motion. It's here, but we're also coming here, and we're going to keep going like this, and your nation going to keep going like this. You're just looking at it right here, where we're all kind of at the same area in this society. Not spiritually, because you can see spiritually, we are like another stratosphere compared to Psalms 83. But you think that it's always been like, oh man, you just black people just haven't wanted to work hard. That's why you guys, no, it's because of all the laws and all the opportunities that was given to other people, and we had everything taken away from us. That's it. You're only looking at things in a superficial spectrum. That's it. We hit play.
On slurs, so why not use them on their own? Anyway, I don't want to spoil this for you guys. I've collected some clips for you guys from TikTok that I want you to watch. Please guys, make sure you like this video. Let's say 500 or 1,000 of you like this video, my video will be pushed out to a larger audience. My YouTube has been suppressing my videos. I don't know why. Please help me, sister. Please help me. Like the video, share the video, comment on this video. And let's watch these clips.
100 Mexicans versus not saying the N-word is telling everything. telling us everything we need to know about y'all. And I'm gonna say this, it's not all Mexicans, but a lot of y'all got some fucking issues. The fact that y'all comebacks are just as racist, baby, is tell. Saying that I want to see 100 people not eat fried chicken or watermelon, wow. Saying you want to see 100 black fathers with their children, okay. Saying that you want to see 100 black people graduate college, have you ever heard of an HBCU, dumbass? Always talking about black people and Mexicans being in the same struggle, black and brown sisters, bullshit. Y'all just as racist as white folks. The fact that you grew up around black people and you think you're invited to say that word is crazy. You're no different than white folks, okay? You wonder why all the videos y'all make about why black folks are not speaking up for y'all. There's your sign. I put my body in harm's way for somebody that sees me less than and disrespects me every chance they get. No, fight for y'all damn selves. See, if black folks would have said some shit like, let me see 100 Mexicans versus deportation, y'all would be mad. But we have enough common sense and enough respect not to do that shit. But unlike y'all racism comes out every goddamn chance y'all get. And y'all wonder why we struggle with supporting y'all and shit.
100 Hispanics versus not saying the N-word got the Latin community showing their racist, colorist, anti-black ways. Because why are y'all so upset that he said that? He literally is telling y'all not to use a racial slur that you have no attachment or no relation to. We use it because we tried to take it back and reverse the meaning so that it would no longer have the same effect or hurtful connotation toward us that it originally was used for. Y'all are using it when y'all are not black. Y'all's family was not on the plantations. You was not called the N-word by the droves. You don't directly relate to that word nor that term. So the fact that a lot of y'all use it is really absurd. I've been saying this and everybody been saying, oh, they black too, they black too. No, they not, because they recognize that they're not us when it's time to. They be me no black when it's convenient. Everybody want to be Afro this and black that because it's a little more trendy and they want to be connected to the lineage, they want to get the benefits, so on and so forth. But the fact that black women, 100 black women versus no wig, 100 black women versus the way they baby daddy at. Like, why y'all so racist? Everybody really fucking, I know, and we keep saying everybody hates us. No, everybody's obsessed with us. Everybody loves us. I always say this, love and hate lives on the same spectrum. They love us so much that it starts to become hatred, envy, jealousy. Like, because what else is it? We don't do anything to any of you motherfuckers for y'all to keep going that hard. 100 black men versus child support, 100 black men versus not going to jail. Like, is y'all cool? All he said was 100 Hispanics versus not using an N-word. That was not racist. It was not an attack. It was literally him saying, why do y'all think y'all get a pass to use a slur? Every day, more and more on this app, I keep seeing how y'all really... At least the truth is being revealed.
Bingo.
I've said it. We kind of on an island alone. We need to stop inviting everybody to the fucking cookout, and we need to stop allowing everybody to use racial slurs because they really are racist. Just because they speak a certain language does not mean they ain't white or white identifying or upholding white supremacy. Spread love is the Brooklyn way.
Who justify using the N-word are also the same.
And that's exactly it. That's the thing. Like, them like acting like because they speak Spanish or that, oh, we've been going through the same things. And I'm like, look, Spanish, it's funny because a lot of Latinos, when they see like a white person speaking Spanish, they're like, oh my God, he's down with us. And he's, they elevate a person like a white person speaking Spanish. I'm like, I don't know if you knew this, but Spanish is the white man's language. Spanish is not Mexican language. It comes from the white man. The names you have are white men's names. The church you go to, the Catholic Church, is a white man's church. You see? So allowing people to, come with us while they're all pushing white supremacy makes no sense. Now, if you're down with us and whatever else, and you're down for the struggle, and the Most High shows us that you're down with us, that's one thing. But just inviting everybody over and letting everybody in, that goes with the movie Sinners. Not everybody gets to come to the cookout. That's what their religion has done. That's what being a Catholic has done. And a Christian. All come as you are. You're all welcome. Jesus wants... No, you're not all welcome. You're not all welcome to hang out with me. You're not all welcome to hang out over here. Yes, that chart, 12 charts, helps to let people in to our group that have ill will towards us. Exactly. If you're brown and speak Spanish, you've been conquered. No different than our so-called Negroes speaking English and having English names and going to Christian churches. Exactly. That's what the white man's done to everyone. But he gave you the opportunity to get a little bit closer to the white man and get some dainties, so long as you hated our people. Like I said, you don't know the history. And the history is even deeper than what that sister was saying there too. Because your people actively fought to not be black. And now all of a sudden you want to use black terms. But like I said, that's okay because you are moving into black status. You are moving from the head, white, being black, but your struggle hasn't even begun yet. You see what I'm saying? Your guys' struggle hasn't even begun yet. Once the Most High takes everything away from you, tears your families apart, watches your wife being taken by another man in front of you, watches your daughter being violated in front of you, watches your son being violated in front of them, forced to go out and work for thousands of years for no pay. Then you can come and talk to me about being a nigga. Then you can have that term, but go through the struggle first. Play a little bit more.
People who can't handle it when you call them Latina. Y'all are literally so fucking exhausting. I just made enough who justify using the N-word are also the same people who can't handle it when you call them Latina. Y'all are literally so fucking exhausting. I just made an observation. Y'all came out of the woodwork too. Many of you inflate being entitled to an opinion makes you qualified to speak on the matter. Not to mention that you use black people as a cultural shield to absolve you from any criticism or consequence. You have a black friend, you grew up in the hood, culture dictates community. But if the same community is telling you not to use the word, and mind you, a lot of them are telling you not to use the word, why do you still feel entitled? I mean, you can interrogate the origins of the word of Latinx, but you can't look a little more deeper into history on where the N-word came from? And I know it's a sore spot for y'all. You talk the talk, but that's it. Not to mention weaponizing your identity, that it has to be transactional. Black people are attacking street vendors. You don't care. You just needed a reason to say it. Y'all don't want solidarity, you just want control.
You know what, this is just a random thought, but as a Hispanic person, why do you want to use the N-word so bad? Do you think it's cool? Do you think it makes you look better? I remember I went to a barbershop, right? When I was in Austin, Texas, and my barber in that specific barbershop was black, right? When I tell you, the Hispanics was in there throwing the N-word left and right to the point where I got uncomfortable when I had to say something. I said, yo, bro, y'all got to stop saying this shit here. And I'm looking at my barber at the time, like, bro, you just comfortable with this? I don't even like when black people say the N-word in a public space, like they overly use it. I feel embarrassed, right? So when I hear Hispanics say it, I'm gonna say something every fucking time. Who gonna stop me? Who gonna stop me? And I stand on that. I'm gonna say something every time. Because why do you want to use it so much? What benefit do you get out of that? Every single time you say the N-word around me, I'm gonna check you every single time, and that's on my mama. Want you to better.
100 Hispanics versus saying the N-word. I'm more surprised that y'all more surprised that they acting the way they're acting right now. Did you forget who they voted for? Google it. Like Google who the majority of the Hispanics in this country voted for.
Bingo.
I don't understand what, dude, they're not on our side. We've been on their side, obviously, for, you saw who we voted for. They're getting what they asked for. Have you not seen the news? they're getting profiled and deported like clockwork. A brother gonna make a video saying, hey, you need to stop saying the N-word, and the top comment is by a Hispanic guy saying the N-word. Thousands of likes. We're so divided, it's sad. We're the only ones that really show up. We're the only demographic of people where everybody wants to be like us, but can't stand us. They basically want us for entertainment purposes only. We created everything. Every genre of music, style of dance, jazz, reggae, country, hip hop, salsa. We created the salsa. Took over all the sports, discovered the internet, created peanut butter. It leaps and bounds in the medical field. They want to dress like us, talk like us. They want to be us. Anytime we say something, they basically say, big middle finger to you, shut up. Entertain us, but don't speak. Nobody will ever say that to your face, though. It's always on the phone, behind a screen, because I've never been disrespected by anybody of another ethnicity to my face. At all. Not once, ever. And I'm not big or bad. It's just the way that y'all be talking online, y'all real internet thugs, real internet gangsters. That's all y'all are. Y'all cat, pie. Like, that's what y'all are. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I made a video, 100 Hispanics versus the N-word. And when I tell you, the Hispanics did not like this one, I don't even understand why. Like, I get it. Some of them in the comment section were just doing some dark humor, stereotypical race jokes. Okay, cool. But some of them were really pissed off, and I don't even understand. Mind you, this is coming off the back of the Shiloh Hendrix shit, so it's questionable. All I can think is that you guys have deep-rooted hatred against us, because I don't go out my way personally to call anyone a racial slur. I don't call white people the C word. I can see how I'm using the C word because I think it's corny to say. And I don't call Hispanics the W word. You know what that one is. All cringe as fuck. And if I want to offend you, I'll offend you a different way. Thank you very much. I'm very rude. You. Hispanics is really crazy. Like, we really be fighting for y'all on the lowest of keys. Like, y'all literally voted against your own interests, and you're getting your people fucking harassed, raided, tackled out in the middle of the street. Voted against your own people, and now they're getting profiled. Like, fuck. Like, even past that, it's like, why do you guys hate us so much? We don't want to kick y'all out the country. We not the ones running around with the race jokes. We do. Yes, we do have racist black people. That is very true. They are around, you feel me? It's just crazy how you guys give us so much shit, but yet y'all benefit for everything we fought for in this country. A lot of laws in place for fairness and equality in this country, we got our ass kicked, so your ass can fucking use them.
Exactly.
Not to mention our influence on music. Music wouldn't be shit today without us. Fashion, even the streetwear fashion, a lot of that has to do with us. Y'all like our lingo, the way we talk, all that. And I've made a video about this before. Y'all love the benefits of black culture up until you don't. One of you dickheads say it's just a word, stop being a victim. That just a word was used against our ancestors to what? Y'all do understand the context of the word, how the word was originally used to not only embarrass us, to degrade us. We take back the power in the word after building this country, after being enslaved, after having our rights taken from us, after all this shit. But we victims because we don't want to use the word after we take it back and it's brought it to our community. Another harsh truth that people don't want to realize is that these other communities, these minority communities, are like Hispanics, are so heavily influenced and consumed by black culture. That's why they feel comfortable saying N-word. They try to fit in places they probably shouldn't. The culture is meant to be shared, but certain things you gotta respect it.
Oh, but when I sat here and said back in November after the election results that white Latinos wasn't really rocking with black people like that and never were, y'all sat here and said I was tripping. Literally, a whole video went viral where a man said 100 Latinos versus not saying the N-word, and the white Latinos lost their mind. And there's a specific reason why I'm saying white Latinos. Because if you're black Latino, aka Afro-Latina, you can say the N-word. You're black. But if you're a white Latino, why do you want to say the damn word so bad? You're white. You're still white. 1, Latino's not a race. 2, you're white. And then y'all said I was tripping after the election results showed that the Latinos don't rock with black people at all. And y'all thought I was tweaking. Y'all said I was tripping. And now look at them months later. They getting mad because people are telling them, no N-word for you. You're not allowed to say it. Stop saying it. Fat Joe might have got away with it 25 years ago, but this ain't 25 years ago when folks was wearing freaking FUBU and freaking velour jumpsuits. This ain't back in them days. This is the year 2025, and black people saying, pause. No N-word for you. I told you them white Latinos.
Now, see, like I said, so this is the issue. You guys don't understand the history, you know, and that's okay. I said, just understand. I said, this switch is here. The switch is here. Let's see here. Just so you understand, you know, you guys, your people fought to not be down with us. A cardinal fact in life, okay, of life in the United States, which Jews were quick to perceive, was that caste was determined by color, not creed. Only in America was the Jew a white man. The view Jews and Negroes held of themselves and each other was determined with fatal finality by the existence of that peculiar institution, slavery. Your people were not enslaved like our people. The American version of the ancient and traditional form of bondage was so ferocious that it seemed different in kind, if not in quantity, for any previous known form of servitude, introduced by the Spaniards in Haiti in 1502. It spread malignantly across the body of the New World. Okay? By the outbreak of the Civil War, a majority of the people living in the Confederacy were slaves, not Hispanics, so-called Negroes. Okay? In Cardozo, South Carolina, more than 60% of the population was Negro. They're not saying anything about Hispanics or any other group that wants to call themselves niggas. Charleston's wealth was created by the slave trade and declined with its end. Again, all these places got their money and everything else by using Negroes, not you. So stop trying to act like you guys had going through the same stuff that we did. American slavery, unlike that of antiquity, was based solely on color and denied the humanity of its victims. Now, that slavery there was brought by your Catholic Church that denied the humanity of its victims. Again, American slavery, unlike that of antiquity, was based solely on color and denied the humanity of its victims. So the only people that were niggas at this time were people who they denied that they were even human. Have you Hispanics, has your church said that you're not human? Did your church exploit you and put you into chattel slavery? If not, then the N-word was never referring to you back then, and it's not referring to you now. It's not referring to you now. Natives, same thing to you. The church, what is it? The nation treated you, they wanted to create a utopia, so therefore they allowed you to join their churches, be called native, get some reservations, so they can say anytime they said they need to do something, for the natives, they would do it for them and not for us. In that book that I just read out of, oh my gosh, hold on. Let me try to grab it. This one right here, the Negroes and the Jews, but they're the same people. Doesn't say the Negroes and the Latinos. Doesn't say the Negroes and the Asians. It's one specific group that they're talking about that has been fighting for their rights, but then it gave the rights to people who didn't even belong here. You see what I'm saying? Just like this, we know your history. Asian, right, slaves in colonial Mexico. Again, you guys were branding our people. You were going along with the Catholics and the Spaniards. You were fighting to not be called black. You were fighting for all of that. That is the history of Negroes, niggas. We're the one that took it back. We're the ones that made it. We make everything cool. We make everything we make everything cool. We're the ones that have all the swagger. We're the ones that have all that because we have the Holy Spirit. All the other nations have wanted to be us. All of the other nations are jealous of us, even at our worst condition. So right here.
Latinos don't rock with us like that, bro. They don't like us, bro.
Hold on.
So hoping that you've watched the videos up to this time. So let's talk about this. I think we can all agree that there's a bigger issue.
Okay, hold on. So right here, if I can get it in. In conclusion, in 1600, black and Chino slaves were instruments of labor, 100 years later, Chinos were Indians who had to be paid for their labor. See, this is what happens. This is why when you guys are all talking about my daddy worked for this, and mi papa did this, mi mama had to do this, had to do this struggle, that struggle. Yes, they did, but they were compensated. So that with that money, they were able to go and buy property. They had rights that we did not have. That is the difference. The so-called niggas that you want to call yourselves now never got rights. That's why we did not go through the same struggle. So again, 100 years later, at the top, Chinos were Indians who had to be paid for their labor. This transformation resulted from the royal dictate and personal effort. For more than a century, Chinos struggled to gain their freedom, and they sought to be disassociated from the institution of slavery. They sought to be disassociated from being black people. 1600s, fighting to not be considered black. But all of a sudden in 2025, everybody wants to be considered black. In these two different but related aims, Chinos gained from their association with Indians in the textile mills where Chino slaves were meant to be supplemental native workers. They benefited from the Crown's goal of abolishing forced indigenous labor. So they forced that. They no more forced indigenous labor. The government's concern for the welfare of Indians spread to Chino slaves. Having first arrived as chattel, Chinos were increasingly Indian laborers, increasingly seen as temporary slaves, bound to service for a specified time, like tributary Indian laborers. Okay? Only for a specific time. Then they get their freedom. Right? 7 years. That's what, when they would come over here. Right? As such, individual Chinos came to perceive their legal condition as something that could change, and that their time in bondage would come to an end. See, they could change. They weren't indentured, exactly, for a certain amount of time. Right? So, and their time in bondage would come to an end. So see, you Latinos and all you other vassals, your time, if you were enslaved, was only for a specific time. It was not until different with the papal bulls. That showed you that it wasn't for, it was only, the papal bulls were only for specific people. They were going to be enslaved indefinitely. So again, individual Chinos came to perceive their legal condition as something that could change, and that their time in bondage would come to an end. They looked to the experience of the many free Chinos and free natives of the Philippines and conceived a personal freedom as a real possibility. Ultimately, this came true.